Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mississippi Valley Archaeology Center's UWL Archaeology Alumni Podcast. I'm MVAC archaeologist Cindy Kutchik. Through this podcast series, we're connecting with alumni of the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse's archaeology program. We're getting perspectives on their experiences in the program and where life led them after graduation. More broadly, we're exploring the impacts of an education in archaeology. And hopefully we'll hear some interesting stories along the way. Our guest today is Dr. Dave Alderman. He attended UWL from 1999 through 2003 and double majored in archaeology and biology. He currently is a psychiatry resident on rotation near Fargo, but he was able to take time to talk to us today in and amongst his busy schedule. So welcome, Dr. Alderman. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So to begin, what led you to UWL's archaeology program? What was your thought process getting in there?
So we have a long family history of attending UWL. My mom's an alum, my uncle was an alum, my sister's an alum, and it certainly wasn't kind of set in stone that that's where you're going, but it was kind of like, well, it's a great school. I guess archaeology more specifically, I had some experiences in childhood in like some of those summer enrichment courses that you see through like the school district. I'm from the area. I'm from Monroe County. Grew up in Sparta, Wisconsin, so about 25 miles east of La Crosse. And one of the local collectors and also school teachers who I believe went to school with my mom, who was also a teacher, was Joan Cook. She was a local collector. Her family farm produced a lot of different pieces that were surface collected over the years. I believe they had some field schools out there and stuff. So she had this these great programs for kids where you would go through the historical society. You'd learn about kind of the prehistory of the area and different influences, some of the geologic history of the area. It was just always an area that I was really interested in. When I kind of finally settled down, I kind of knew I was interested in medicine, but I first took an Archaeology 100 class with Jim Thieler, and I was just smitten. I thought this was so interesting, some of the things you could learn and try and piece together about, human life ways and, interactions with the environment and things like that. And just almost instantly, I just knew that I somehow needed to fit this into my undergraduate education. And so, I ended up being a double major, and I just remember thinking, I'm never going to get out of here. But I spent, May terms, J terms, summers. Well, I don't ever remember not being out of school for more than a week or two, and just somehow managed to get through in time. So, that's how I ended up here in archaeology.
Wow, a lot to do in your undergraduate career.
Yep.
And of course, we talk about different minors that students have. What minor did you choose, and how did that play into your interest in medicine and archaeology?
So my intent, even though I was enrolled in the archaeology major, my intent was always to go to medical school. And then kind of as a backup plan, I had thought about maybe like forensic science or forensic anthropology. And so by the time you fulfill all the requirements to get into medical school, I realized I had like one class left to get a minor. And I thought, well, it'd be good to learn about biochemistry. And glad I did. It ended up paying dividends later. But I just ended up kind of grabbing as much information as I could. I used to joke about had I won the lottery, I probably just would have been a perpetual student because I just like to learn things and I'm curious. So,
And talking about things you learned with the biology degree, was there a specific concentration or focus you had within that along with your minor?
I was a cell molecular concentration. I don't know if they still have that concentration now. I think they've even moved to more like you could probably just do a molecular biology concentration, but it's been a while since I paged through the old catalog to see what the majors are available here. But so cell and molecular was a really interesting concentration at the time. It was really only a couple of additional courses plus some biochem, but it really just kind of like opens up the whole your whole understanding, like they call it central dogma of molecular biology. You understand how inheritance and gene expression works in a very broad level. I mean, not super high detail, but and it really is kind of a stepping off place for just like understanding a lot of the living world. So.
And did you take a UWL field school while you were here, getting back to the archaeology side of things?
Yep, I sure did. Yeah.
Stayed here for that?
So I did a 6-week field school with Jim Thieler. I think Jim and Ernie or Robert Bozart split the field school, so they each taught for 3 weeks. Yeah, it was just a great experience. So I did that at the Crosse site, which was a farm kind of in the Sand Lake district, so out kind of between Holman and Onalaska. Real historic, finds for the area, the Ridgefield agriculture here in the Upper Mississippi River Valley. So yeah, I got a chance to see a really great site out there. I believe that they kind of thought it was a village site, and also got to do some kind of local salvage work when they redid I think the 7th Street interchange kind of down by Gunderson Hospital, Gunderson Health System. So yeah.
Oh, great experience.
Yeah, it was great.
We do have more information on the MVAC website about the Sand Lake district and kind of some of the Ridgefield agriculture and excavations in that area too. Mm-hmm. So you graduated in 2003, commencement came along. Where did you go after that?
So interestingly enough, I had some personal challenges. I ended up being a single father at that time, and I had to make some tough decisions about what I wanted to do with my career, or I kind of had to put my career rather on hold. And so I ended up entering the field of nursing, and was kind of able to keep busy in that, but had always wanted to do something more challenging. And fast forward, almost 2 decades, I ended up, reapplying to medical school, and they let me in. So here I am. Yeah.
Excellent. And what takeaways did you bring with you from archaeology and studying biology in undergrad?
Sure.
What sorts of things were you able to bring along on that journey?
Lots of things. So one of the things I really enjoyed about the 2 majors in particular is I really felt that there was a kind of a synergistic relationship between the two. My senior thesis was kind of heavily toggled between the 2 majors, and some of the other research that I got into or was asked to kind of be part of in a less official capacity, was able to kind of draw on the chemistry background to solve an archaeology problem. So I think if there's anything that I really took out of archaeology in particular, it was some of the critical thinking and problem solving that is certainly present in the biological sciences and in chemistry, but boy, you really need to operationalize the information you have in order to kind of look at larger problems in archaeology. You're looking a lot of times at sites that span large spaces and human activity that occur over large geographic spaces in time. And so it really is this kind of 4-dimensional mindset of looking at what things happen where and when, and it's a really interesting I guess really high level view of kind of how people interact with their environments, with each other, with the animals through time. And so I just it was just very instrumental in helping me to be able to kind of pull together a lot of information and synthesize and come out with a specific plan or an explanation for an observed phenomenon. So.
Can you tell us a bit more about your senior thesis?
Sure. So let's see, it's been quite a while, but I looked at, I actually was able to use some really interesting biological techniques and also some imaging techniques that you use in biology and chemistry to address an archaeology problem. So I worked with Dr. Jim Thieler and also David Howard, who unfortunately is no longer with us, wonderful professor. But the both of them kind of guided me through working on this project where I looked at an indicator species called Gastrocopter procera. Rogersensis was the subspecies, which is a small gastropod or snail, land snail. It's about 1 millimeter in length. And this particular species happens to occur in the same kind of climate conditions that you find corn agriculture. And so theoretically, whenever you see or find this species, you can say, at such and such time when the snail was found or would have lived, the climate in this area would have been conducive to corn agriculture. So it became it could be considered a very important indicator species for where, seeing if there was climate conducive to corn agriculture. In any event, there had been a kind of a challenge to the phylogeny, or how this particular snail fit into what group this species of snail fit into. And so I was able to have some collected specimens that were collected by Dr. Thieler, and I was able to use scanning electronic microscopy under the assistance of David Howard, and I was also to do some DNA sequencing, and then some kind of early phylogenetic tree reconstruction. And so this species, I realized it did actually look more like a different species. And so then this proposed species may have been appropriately proposed as a new species altogether. So in any event, I don't know that I made any massive, earth-shattering discoveries in the field of archaeology or in gastropods rather, but definitely learned a lot. Had an opportunity to write a grant. Just learning some technical skills with DNA sequencing. Nobody was doing that in my classes. We did some basic precipitation of DNA, but I was really had to push myself to learn a lot more than your average senior thesis or senior project. So it was just great experience, and just really thankful for the opportunity to do that and learn with the under the tutelage of the folks here. So.
Those are some great opportunities, learning how to apply for grants and
Yep.
doing DNA sequencing, doing a lot of new things there. That's amazing. Great. And how does that all kind of tie into what you do now? We talked a little bit about nursing, getting accepted to medical school. What happened after that to get you to this point?
Sure. So, I kind of found myself later in life. I finished raising my son and had the kind of opportunity to reconsider where I was, what I was doing, what I wanted to do with myself, and found I still would like to learn more, and I'm still interested in medicine. And so, I was able to go ahead and pursue that. As far as what I took with that, though, probably some of the most important things that I brought with were more broadly anthropology, and archaeology is a subdivision of anthropology. And so the study of humans, their behaviors, their kind of activities, their cultures, things like this. And I think really where that's been applicable is in psychiatry, because I find myself thinking more about, what are the evolutionary advantage of given behaviors, and what are these behaviors, what are the objectives of these behaviors, and what are the detractions, and why have these behaviors persisted? And so I think unfortunately we tend to view a lot of human behavior through a cultural lens, and while that's certainly appropriate sometimes, there's still a lot of evolutionary influence that goes into our behaviors. And so I find myself like when I'm really confused by something, especially when you see given behavior, kind of stepping back and say, well, what would the advantage of doing this or acting this way being? And so sometimes that's just kind of helped me kind of go, oh, okay, maybe this is less volitional per se and more inherited. So anyway, just kind of a different way of thinking about how people act and behave and their objectives and what they hope to get out of given course of action. So,
are there any other ways you keep up with or tie in anthropology and archaeology into your life outside of professional work, like reading articles or like
boy,
going
I
to
wish.
events or anything?
I wish I had time to.
Yeah.
I still read the occasional article. I'll read the occasional Wisconsin Archaeology paper. I have some friends that from my cohort that went on there doing archaeology still. So if they recommend something, I'll try and at least read the abstract. I think we've all been there. We had to only read the abstract. Yes.
Life gets really
only had
busy.
the time. Yeah. So, but
for sure. And any advice you would have for students coming into the archaeology program, or even those thinking of double majoring and incorporating archaeology into a double major?
Yeah, I think, if anything, what really was great about our program here in archaeology specifically is I think it's really great if you can learn all the technical foundation, like you learn a lot of things like that in biology and in chemistry. And I really don't think you get the pushback to operationalize some of what you were to learn. And so Jim Thieler, one of the retired professors from here, used to always ask us, what does this mean and why do we care? And it really is what a lot of this can be distilled down to. I mean, it's great to go on this kind of philosophical bent or bend rather, where you're looking at minutia, but unless you can actually apply it to a problem or answer a question, a lot of times it doesn't mean a lot. So I think that's really helped me in terms of reading papers in medicine and kind of evaluating studies in medicine, because I think there is a lot of pressure on people to publish studies, and they don't always publish studies that are particularly helpful or answer a question. I think there's a lot of basically not great studies or not terribly useful studies that end up in the literature, which is unfortunate. So, but yeah. So I think that's probably been the biggest thing, just the really critical thinking piece and pulling a lot of that information together.
Being able to operationalize
Mhm.
what you're learning and
Yep.
answer that question of why, what does it all mean?
You got it. Yep. So,
Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. It was
Thanks
great
for
to
having
hear
me.
all your perspectives.
thank you very much.
And thank you for watching or for listening if you're doing an audio only version of this. And if you'd like to find out more information about MVAC and archaeology, particularly in the upper Midwest, you can visit the MVAC website at uwlax.edu/MVAC. We have plenty of resources on there for you to check out. We have a little bonus here with a clam or mussel and bison scapula replicas.
Yeah, so these are actually, I made these. Let's see, would have been 20 some years ago. I guess 20, I think it would have been the summer of 2000 or 2000, I think 2000. So it's 2024 now. So I guess that's 24 years ago. So as part of the project, we used to have a pretty historic native garden. Boy, I want to be careful with that. That we would have here every summer outside the archaeology lab. And one of the plans was to try and reproduce some of the original tools that native folks would have used for working the soil. And so I was kind of given some, I wouldn't say vague instructions, but kind of instructions that were open to interpretation about how to make these, and provided with some raw materials. Others I had to source by one of my professors, Dr. Jim Thieler. And so Dr. Thieler provided me with a stick and some of the sinew and some instructions on where to find a bison scapula. And so, I actually made this, and it's not entirely as accurate as it would be for a period piece. But the one thing I added here was a notch at the glenoid fossa that kind of kept this from rotating. But it looks like this is actually held up pretty well. You guys must have been doing some digging. It's got the real characteristic wear pattern here. But this then would have been used, so be careful here, like so, to try and mound up dirt and kind of dig through holes or dig holes and dig through the soil to plant seeds and kind of weed. Similarly, this shell hoe, it had just a single hole in it for mounting. This one didn't work nearly as well, and also doesn't look like it held up as well. But I guess it's very similar to what we found archaeologically in the region. So just great learning opportunity to kind of recreate some of this. One of the other things we actually got to do too, which is a little harder to represent, we don't have the evidence of, is we actually were able to use some stone tools to work some bison hide. And so we had a fresh bison hide that was brought in, and we tried some end scrapers and also some obsidian flakes and things like that. So you really kind of get a feel. I think it's one thing to kind of hypothesize how that goes, but until you actually physically handle some of the materials and understand what it is like to try and work with, lithics and solve a problem with lithics like skinning stuff, or even bone tools trying to work soil. I just don't think you can really move from concept to going, oh, this is actually harder than it looks, and these are the problems that you see. And sometimes it does things like explains the wear patterns, like what you see on the bison hoe. So. But it was just a great experience, great education here. Can't recommend it highly enough. So you can go anywhere with archaeology, and boy, it'll help you solve problems in whatever field you go into. So, okay.
And can you tell us a little more about how you looked at, actual worked bone from archaeological sites, or how much of that did you do? Like sort of getting an idea of this is the wear pattern we should see. What could create that?
Sure. I think when we find scapulas in archaeological context, they are, let's see, I'll try and get this so the camera can see this well, but they end up really worn out through here, and so I guess I probably should have had it the other way. In any event, you really see this wear pattern where it wears down here in the middle, and mostly because that bone is pretty thin, and so you end up with kind of this forked pattern, and that notch kind of recesses higher up in there. And so it's one thing to say, why does this wear this way? And I think, you can certainly hypothesize about that. But until you actually start with the raw materials and try doing what what the are using the tool, you don't necessarily understand how the wear patterns are formed. So, yeah. Same with some of the wear patterns we see in antler and other work bone and things like that. So it's just the opportunity to do some of the experimental archaeology is just really instrumental in I guess understanding how people use tools. So.
Yeah, definitely a great opportunity. And thank you so much for showing these to us
Sure.
today and for making them. We
Yep.
still use these
So glad to
when
hear that.
school groups come and other tours come to the lab here.
That's
so
great.
it's a great tool to teach about experimental archaeology and how we try to figure out what people were doing in the past and how they worked with
That's
their different
excellent.
tools.
Great. Glad to
you
know
so
they're
much.
still in use. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.